Episode 37 today of the Travel Bros. We are on our way to Florida. Jamie is going to tell us all about his stay at the Universal Helios Grand Hotel, which is a Lowe's hotel just outside of Orlando, Florida. Or is that actually technically in Orlando, Florida? Because it's not like Disney, right? I think it's Orlando proper, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, it's not Disney. Yeah, I think it may actually be Orlando.
Okay. It's got an Orlando mailing address, so we're going to go with that. All right, Jamie, to start this episode, if this doesn't go well, I'm just going to edit it out. But let's just assume this is going well. I was listening to another podcast, and they had a very controversial question, and I need to hear your
Okay.
answer. The comments are very torn, highly debatable topic. I have a very opinionated way I feel about this. However, I've never worked a real corporate job. My last job was a Blockbuster Video. So take
Ooh,
it with a grain of salt. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Please pay attention to every word. It's very important. Wednesday's meeting has been moved forward 2 days. Does that mean the meeting is now Monday or is it Friday?
I would say Monday.
Interesting. Okay. I'm team Monday as well. But
Okay.
apparently
This is a good one.
a lot of people seem to think that it's Friday because they're saying the calendar starts on Monday, right? So when you go forward, you're going from
Okay.
Wednesday to Friday. I would take that as we're moving it forward like closer to
Yeah, that's
the
how I would
time.
take it. Right. So I would think if you would say, because, hey, all right. So right now, if I said, hey, I need to push this meeting back an hour, right? You would
Hmm.
say, oh, if we were meeting at 12 and I was like, hey, can we push this back an hour? That'd be 1 o'clock.
Right.
If we
And
can
if you
move
said
this
I need to
forward an
move this
hour, it'd
meeting
be
forward an
11.
hour.
That's how I'm taking
Understood.
it.
But yeah, they had a highly contested debate because the days of the week would start on Monday. So if you were moving it forward, it'd be further away. It is interesting.
Well, the
So
travel bros have spoken. It's
yeah.
Monday.
I mean, I think for, content's sake, it's kind of a bummer we agree here. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm Team Monday. So glad we got that out of the way. Let's move on to Orlando, Florida. I feel like you should just probably move there, I think,
I'm
for
actually going
content's
down in a
sake.
couple days again,
See, that's my point. Your poor family, you think about how much more you could see them if you lived there.
right? Tell you.
I don't want to dig into this hotel too much too fast. You did spend some time at Universal while you were there, correct? Like, tell us about the park. What's all with all the changes? I've never even been to Universal Studios, I don't think. So give me like a rundown here.
The newest park, which opened right around Labor Day, is Epic Universe. This is one of the first like brand new ground up parks built in Orlando in a lot of years. And this park is very impressive. And it was the reason for our stay. Universal Helios Grand Hotel is connected to the Epic Universe. If you're going to Epic Universe and you could swing it, like this is the hotel to stay at. Location wise, Epic Universe and this hotel are separated from the original Universal and I'm drawing a blank. This hotel and Epic Universe are separated from the original Universal Hotel and Islands of Adventure. It's actually a couple miles away. If you're staying here, this is ideal for visiting Epic Universe. If you're doing the other parks, I would probably recommend staying at either Portofino, Hard Rock, or Royal Pacific, or do some kind of split stay so you can do both parks. But we were staying here for the sole purpose of being able to visit this new park, Epic Universe, and have easy access. Like I said, it's connected. You have your own private entrance right from the hotel into the park.
Oh, pretty interesting. So tell me about Epic Universe. How long has it been open? What rides do you enjoy? Give me a scoop here before we dig in.
Yeah, so I've actually been twice now. I went once during the previews and then once on this last trip. Visually, this park is absolutely amazing. And it's broken down into universes. So you've got Epic Universe. So you've got like a monster universe. So you've got, kind of like Frankenstein, haunted house kind of themed area. You've got Mario World or Nintendo World, which is, I think, the coolest area of the park. You've got a Mario Kart ride. You've got a Yoshi ride. You've got a Donkey Kong ride, which was probably one of my favorite areas. But the theming is just so immersive. Then you've got How to Train Your Dragon, so Burke Land, again, theming absolutely incredible. You've got another Harry Potter world, which if you're a Harry Potter fan, every single Universal Park in Orlando has its own Harry Potter area. So that's really cool. Then you've got just the general like open area of the park. There's tons of water, tons of fountains. It is a beautiful park just to walk around, visually stunning. I mean, I think they still got some kinks to work out. It's a new park. Weather in Florida is unpredictable during the summer, so you get a lot of storms. A lot of their rides are outdoor roller coasters, so when it storms, a lot of things can shut down. So we experienced that. So that's something to take into account, like when you're planning your trip. June, July, August, you're probably going to get some rain in the afternoon and some rides are going to shut down. But the
Okay.
park itself, just visually very impressive, super immersive.
What's like a core age group you think for I mean, with a lot of roller coasters, do your kids need to be older before you come here? What's your thoughts?
That's a good question. Let me see what the height limit is. They have rides for kind of all age groups, but I feel like this is probably my son is 11 in that probably whatever you let me look up these heights real quick. Epic Universe. I'm thinking it's 42 inches. Let's just see what the height requirements are. Are any? Yeah, so some rides have a minimum height of 48 inches, it looks like. Let me see what this says. Yeah, a lot of some of the roller coasters and stuff are 48 inches. So I would probably say, I don't know when you turn 48 inches, fourth or fifth grade typically. So, 10, 9, 10 ish, because some of the best rides are roller coasters and you're going to have to be 48 inches to ride them. So I would say similar to what I think Universal in general is geared a little bit towards an older crowd, a little bit more, thrill ride type thing. So my son loves Universal. He loves Islands of Adventure. He really liked Epic Universe because they got really great roller coasters. So I think, that 10-ish age range plus.
Okay. The internet says the average kid reaches 40 inches between 7 and 8.
Okay, so maybe a little bit younger.
Just as a heads up. Real quick before we move on to this hotel too, did you eat on property? Will you have any thoughts on the food there?
Yes. So this is one place that we ate at the hotel multiple times. Like on
Okay.
my first visit, actually, I've eaten at the hotel twice before I stayed at the hotel, and then the last time I visited Epic Universe. Food is really good. The two restaurants that we did on property, off the lobby, there's a place called Flora Tavern. It's kind of a Mediterranean vibe. So you got like hummus plates and pitas and stuff like that. Really good. I've eaten there twice. And then up on the rooftop, so even if you're not staying here, you can reserve this. I think I reserved it on Open Table. It is a bar called Bar Helios, and
Okay.
it's indoor outdoor seating, but it's top of the hotel. Really great views of the park from up there.
Interesting. Okay.
So they do at night. They do a water show in some of the fountains in front of the hotel, which is very impressive. So you can go up to the rooftop, hang out at the bar, have a drink. It's mostly tapas. It's not really like full meal type food, but really good. And you get some really great views of the park. So if you're staying there, definitely do it. Even if you're not staying there and you just happen to be in Orlando, this is worth coming to check out, 8:30 ish at night before the water show.
And I hate tapas restaurants, but that's
And it's
it's a whole
it's
other
pretty pricey. It's
yeah, it's
pretty
a whole
pricey
other
tapas restaurant.
podcast for another day.
And then we did eat in the park. I can't remember the name of the place. It was kind of a quick service, like burger kind of place, but I thought the food was really good. And we did some grab and go stuff that we saw like on Instagram, and everything we had was good, I think. So I think their food service at this park is above average for theme park food.
Interesting. Yeah, I stumbled upon just clicking around while you were talking. There's a Yoshi's Snack
Yep, we
Island.
did that. It has
Okay.
like the like calzone type things. They look like turtle
Yeah,
shells. Those
a
were
red
really
shell
good.
calzone.
Yep. So we did the red shell calzone. And then in Burke, they do like these cones that are filled with mac and cheese and then like different meats and stuff. So we did a couple of those to try. One we did, I think, was like barbecue pork, and then the other was chicken. They were both really good. And then in the monster themed like universe, there's a bar way in the back, and they were like fried cheese curds, but they're like black. Like they look like they're burnt, but they're not. They were really good. And then
That's
there's
cool.
a dagger pretzel that we saw on Instagram. That was really good. So everything we tried was really good that we ate there.
So in general, it's a strong experience kind of across the board.
Yeah, I think for the food and drink, I think it was really good. We experienced some really bad wait times both trips. It is a new park. This park, and I'll hit on this before we even get into the hotel. When you stay at some of the other Universal properties and you go to Universal or Islands of Adventure, you do get express passes where you can skip the line.
Okay.
Here you do Here, the only way to get express passes is to purchase them. You don't get them with any hotel stay. And even if you purchase the express passes, it's not like super limited where at Disney, your lines may be 5 or 10 minutes. This is just an express pass line. You may still wait 30, 40 minutes in the express pass line to get on some of these rides. So it's one thing to kind of be aware of, which if you're going to spend, I want to say it's $200 ish per person for these express passes. So if you're going to be in for a family of four, an extra $800, I don't know how worth it is.
And there's no cap, so every person in the park could, in theory, purchase.
I mean, they may cap it, but I actually ran across an article and they did the standby waits versus the express pass wait times. And
Mhm.
some rides, it was almost the same wait time, so it wasn't a huge saver. Now, some it may save you 45 minutes or an hour, so it may be worth it. But for the most part, I couldn't justify the additional cost for the wait times.
Sure. Does Universal have a site that like live tracks those? Because I know Disney has like sites, right, that track the wait times and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, right in the app, you can see the wait times the whole time you're there. So we kind of tried to plan around that. If we saw a wait time dropping, we would try and hit that. But I almost think that did us like a disservice. If
Mm.
if you saw something that was well below the average time, I feel like everyone in the park was trying to rush to that one. This is going to sound crazy, but like the Harry Potter ride dropped to 110 minutes. That's right, dropped. So just under 2 hours. That was the shortest we saw it. We were like, we got to rush to get on this ride. We wound up waiting almost 3 hours.
Three
It's a,
hours?
it's the longest I've ever waited for a ride in my life. And it was only because we were already in the queue for like an hour and I felt pot committed at that point. But yeah, some of these lines, I would, I'm not in a rush right now to go back without a better plan.
Well, yeah, let me cross off Universal Studios as a list of
Yeah.
things for me to do. Oh my gosh. I I mean, your kids are older than mine, but if I don't think my daughter could wait 30
Oh
minutes
no.
for anything in her life.
Yeah, this is the lines were very bad and it got compounded because we had some bad weather when we were there. So when any of the outdoor rides would shut down for the weather,
Mm,
the 3 or 4 indoor rides that stayed open would just get mobbed with people.
okay.
So
Uh,
that's something to think about.
Interesting. Yeah, especially in the summer, you're always going to have rain,
Yep.
regardless of if it says it or not.
Now on the plus side, if you time it right, the lightning goes away, the rain goes away, the rides were closed, you can get on some of these rides in like a 15-minute wait if you're the first ones back in line.
Sure. You did not do that very well, though.
This did not happen in this past trip. Now, when I did the preview trip, we timed the one roller coaster about perfect. We were walking up right when it reopened, and we waited like 15 minutes and walked right on it.
Perfect. And then let's talk real quick. What are the two hotels on the other side that can actually get you an express pass with your stay?
Yep. So it's actually you actually get three over there. So
Okay.
you got Royal Pacific, Portofino, and Hard Rock. So the three of those, if you're going to Universal or Islands of Adventure, it is worth every penny to stay at one of those properties to get the express passes. And one of the things in the past, Hagrid's, which is one of the most popular rides, didn't participate in Express Pass. Since Epic Universe opened, this Hagrid's motorbike ride now participates in Express Pass. So that used to be one that would get 2 hour waits, and now it's Express Pass. So that's another huge benefit to staying on property there.
Before we started, I was kind of getting excited about going to Universal, and now that you're throwing out 2 and 3 hour wait times,
Well,
I'm
so
quickly unexcited.
I will say right now is a great time to visit Universal or Islands of Adventure because a lot of people are coming to Epic Universe because it's the brand new park. So I think you get even Disney, right? I've seen a lot lower wait times because a lot of people are coming to this new park.
I like the way you think. Just do the opposite.
Do the opposite.
Smart. Let's do a deep dive on this hotel you stayed at here. This hotel is essentially, well, one thing to clarify too, all the hotel properties you mentioned are Lowe's hotels, correct?
Yes.
They
Yeah,
give you the
all
express
of
pass.
those.
And this is also a Lowe's hotel.
But this one you do not get Express Pass.
Correct. Just something to think about. These are all
Yep.
under the Lowe's umbrella, not
Umbrella.
Lowe's hardware store, Loews. It's still said the same way, right? Lowe's?
Yep.
Lowe-
Yeah, Lowe's.
Loews. Kind of a terrible name for a hotel chain, but here and over there. Well, this hotel was built with this property, correct, in mind. So give us I'm assuming most people have A, never stayed there that are listening to this, and B, don't know much about it. So give me the I guess the 101.
The hotel is very impressive. It, like I said before, it is connected to the Epic universe. So you have your own entrance directly from the hotel lobby into the theme park. So it's really well integrated. It goes with the theming of the park. It all matches together. So location wise, it can't be beat. One of the other benefits of staying on property is you get an hour early entrance to the park. So that is one way to potentially, if there's a ride you really want to get on, you get this early entrance and you beeline it right to that ride. The hotel itself is very impressive. I think it was a really well done property. It's 500 rooms, 35 suites, so it's a decent sized hotel. The views, the theme park view rooms, I will say if you're staying here, splurge the extra money to get a theme park view room. I was debating before I booked it. I did book a theme park view room and it was worth every penny. Being able to look out of your room, particularly at night when all the lights in the park are on, watch the water show from your room, it is extremely impressive. Grounds of the hotel are really nice. It's got a great outdoor pool area. They've got cabanas. They've got a pool bar and restaurant there. So that's a really nice spot. Not a lot of stuff per se at the pool for kids. So there's not a water slide or anything like that, but it's just a really nice like pool area. There's an arcade, pretty decent arcade. The gym there or fitness center was really nice. Not huge for the size property it is, but most people are not going to the gym. If you're staying here, you're typically staying here to go to Epic Universe, right? Got the store right on property, so you can buy Universal merch. You can get they sell bracelets for interactive games in Nintendo World. They sell the wands for interactive stuff and the Harry Potter lands, so you can buy those in the hotel, so you don't have to spend time once you get in the park getting those, which is kind of nice. Room wise, we stayed in a deluxe theme park view room. I looked at the square footage. I thought it was bigger than it was. I think we said it was like 425 square feet. It was really well used space. We had 2 queen beds and a fold out couch. And hopefully we could put some pictures up because it's funny when you walk into the room, the couch has the back to the window and the couch faces the room, with the great views behind the couch. And the bellman that was helping us with our bags, he's like, "Hey, let me tell you a secret. Move the couch." He goes, twist it sideways, push it up against the wall. And then if you open it up, it's laying sideways and you can like look out at the park from the bed. And it was a great idea. I don't know why they actually don't change the layout to be that. So then all beds are basically facing the same way. But that was a really cool idea. We really enjoyed the room. We really enjoyed the view from it. Technology wise, I'm not always a fan, but they have the iPad controlled everything. And it was actually probably one of the best interfaces that I've ever used at a hotel. You can control the TV from it. You can control all the lights, like everything's individually. It was very easy to use. So I was actually impressed with that. Not normally a huge fan of it. Air conditioning, amazing. I mean, cranked it down to like 65 and it was like ice cold in there. Compared to some hotels, particularly in Florida, not always the best, but their AC was really good. My only complaint about the room, and I actually gave them this feedback, and I'm not always one that like is big on sharing feedback. For what you pay for these rooms, which is very expensive, you were probably for a theme park view room $800 plus per night. Like it is not going to be a cheap stay. The towels in the room were like Motel 6 towels, super thin, not really good quality. And like the comforters on the bed were very thin. We had to call and get some extra ones because we had the air conditioning cranked down so low. But that was my 2 feedbacks. I'm like, I wish you would have had better blankets on the bed and higher quality towels. But other than that, it feels like a true like high end. The finishes were really like high quality. It was well done. Just some of the soft products on there were a little bit lacking.
Did you find one thing I've found consistently people complaining about in reviews is that it's lack of soundproofing? Like, I guess it's really loud. You hear people in other rooms, which it's hard to know if you had anyone next to you or above you either. But is that something you noticed when you were there?
So it's funny you say that. The only time I did notice that is when we were watching the light show and fountain show at night. We were like pushed up against the glass and you could tell that every room was probably doing the exact same thing. And the way the hotels, it's curved on the front.
Okay.
And I could definitely hear the neighboring rooms at that point. At no other point did I notice any like sound from the neighboring rooms, but when everyone was pushed up against the glass, you could definitely hear the other rooms.
Yeah, that seems a little less than ideal, I think, at that price point, but at least it was only
Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice it while
temporary.
I was there per se.
Did you mess around with this too? I was reading some of their benefits and they say that you can, they have resort wide charging privileges. Like, does that extend into, it says use your room key across Universal. So does that include like the parks and stuff? Could you just bill things to your room?
I think so. I did not try that. We just paid as we went, but I know at Disney you can. You just use your Magic Band, so I assume it's probably the same at Universal.
Okay. And then something else interesting too, complimentary merchandise delivery, which I'm not a big merchandise purchasing guy, but if you don't have to carry it, it says Universal Shops will deliver it to your hotel room for you. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's a big perk. Disney used to do that. They stopped doing it, and I really like that. If you're in the park and you're buying something, particularly younger kids, right? Like toys and stuff are bulky,
Yeah.
and like, oh, I gotta have this. I don't want to freaking haul that around all day and have to deal with it when I'm going on rides. So being able to send that back to your room is huge.
I would agree. Here's something to touch on. They really don't want you to park here if you are not staying here.
Yes.
So because I thought this was the rate for guests, but there's two rates. But let me hit you with this. Day guest parking, which is someone that presumably is not staying there. If you would like to self park, it is $125 plus tax, which, if I recall, tax in Orlando is 6.5%. So you're $132 with tax to park, self park. And then if you'd really like the privilege of valet, it does only increase a few dollars. It's $128 plus tax, which should come out to 136 with
Oof.
tax. Pretty offensive, I must say. That might be the highest parking fee we have highlighted on this show. However, if you spend $800 a night to sleep there, self parking drops to 36 plus tax, valet 46 plus tax.
Yeah, it's still pricey.
Not great. Another thing I gotta really nitpick about this hotel, I have an issue with upgraded premium Wi-Fi. Like what year is this? We're
Yeah,
in 2020. Come on.
that drives me crazy. Now, I didn't notice any issues with the Wi-Fi, but to charge anything for Wi-Fi nowadays is insane.
And how about how crazy this is per hour or $9.95 for a 24-hour period. But that 24-hour period isn't from when you purchase it, according to them. It's from 1 p.m. to 1 p.m. So if you check in at 4 p.m.,
Yep.
you're just toast at 1 p.m. I mean, hopefully you're in the park, but I don't know. The thought of anyone charging for Wi-Fi in 2025 is very offensive. Another note too, while they're nickel and diming you here, Universal Studios, because I think you mentioned your room, you could host 5 people. There is an additional charge of $55 per extra adult for more than 2 adult guests per room. So if you do have 5 friends with no children who'd like to cram into a room, they're going to hit you with an extra $160, $165. So
I will say though, that's not uncommon. Vegas, Baja Mar, stuff like that. It's $50 a night usually.
I understand. I'm just, I'm rolling
Oh
through
yeah. Oh yeah.
their list here.
I do want to throw one thing out there. So I did
Okay.
mention like if you do go to Bar Helios and you're not staying there, we're talking about these crazy parking fees. They will validate your parking if you spend, I don't know, like $50 or $75 or something like that at the bar.
Which is half price of
Yeah.
parking.
So
So you might as well,
now I don't know how
you know,
long, right? Maybe it's 3 hours or something. I have no idea, but they will validate your
sure.
parking.
Really encouraging you to make sure you drink before you drive home.
Yeah.
One of the most consistent, now you mentioned this as well. I think one of the most consistent things I see is people saying Flora Taverna is fantastic. But most people are mentioning that for breakfast. Did you do breakfast there? Did you do a different meal there?
So we did lunch. Both times I went for lunch. And so we stayed for 2 nights. In the one morning, it was like, hey, let's get up and go to this theme park.
Okay,
So yeah, we didn't do breakfast at all at the hotel. Every day it was like, let's get up and go.
sure.
But yeah, the food was really good there. I do believe they do a big breakfast buffet in the morning. And this is where I'm like kind of torn on it, right? If you're staying there, you're probably staying there to get this early park entrance and get right into the park. So
hmm
I don't know if I would be hitting that or not.
What are the hours of that restaurant? Oh, they open at 7.
So I guess you could potentially hit it before going to the park.
Yeah,
This park does have what I felt like were fairly short hours,
interesting.
particularly in the summer in a brand new park. I can't remember if it was open like 10 to 9 or 9 to 9. I would have expected a little bit later and possibly a little bit earlier when we were there, especially in the evening. I felt like it could have stayed open another hour or so at night. One thing with this early park entrance, and this is something take into account. You say the park opens at 10 and early entrance is at 9. People are lining up already at 8 o'clock in the morning in the
Ugh.
hotel. So that kind of stunk, right? So we went and stood in line for 45 minutes or so before the park even opened in the hotel. So that's something to think about. It is nice to get in early, but you've already stood in line for 45 minutes or an hour before you potentially get in the park.
That is a tough one. I don't know how they improve that, I guess.
I will say
Or
one
like,
thing that I read after that I was there, and you also have early entrance for other Universal guests, right? At the other, you've got people coming from the other entrance as well,
okay.
and you would get people doing like this mad sprint, right? So I think you did Hong Kong Disney, right?
Hmm.
Recently. I don't know if you went like at park opening. There is when I tell you I've never seen anything like it, the gates open and people just take off sprinting.
Okay.
That I think that was also happening at Epic Universe. So now they actually have like security guards kind of walking everyone to each entrance. So it's not just like this freaking mad dash from the entrances, like chaos. So I think that's a good improvement that they've implemented. And I think they're really enforcing it where like if you're running, like they're pulling you out and taking you to the back.
Wow. Okay. Listen, we showed up at Hong Kong Disney at like 11:30 a.m. That's my kind of theme park style,
That's good.
which is why I never do any of the ones in the States. But what else we got to cover on here?
So I will say if this is, if you've got the budget and you're going to do it, they do two different types of tours here, which I wouldn't do Express Pass, right? Because you're already going to be in for whatever I said, 200 and some dollars a person, and you're still going to probably wait in lines. They do similar to Disney, they do like VIP private tours, right? And
Okay.
you're skipping the lines, right? So, but they also do like a shared private tour. So I think they do 8 people per tour, something like that. And they charge 450-ish, maybe 500 per person, which is still absolutely crazy. It's a lot of money. But if you do that, you're pretty much guaranteed to get on every ride in the park and not be standing in line for hours. So if you're already in for like, hey, we're coming, we're going to do one day here, we want to hit everything, we want to have a good experience, you could do this semi-private tour. You're going to be paired up with another, 3, 4 people or whatever it is in the group, and you're going to basically get to skip every line. That's an option.
How many people would you need to have a private
I mean,
tour?
you could do one person if you want to. You're just going to pay the, whatever it is, $5,000 for the private tour.
Okay.
I think the semi-private's nice because it brings it down if you're only 1 or 2 people, or
Hmm.
it brings it down to a much more manageable than like, hey, I got to shell out 5 grand for a family of 3 or 4.
What does the semi-private tour cost again?
Well, I think when I looked for our dates, it was like 450 a person. So you'd be in
Okay.
for like $1,800 or $2,000 versus like 5 grand or whatever it is.
So it's really double Express Pass?
Yeah, because when I was looking at Express Pass, I'm like, I'm not doing that. But if I was gonna splurge, I probably would have did the semi-private tour.
Okay.
I want to say
Interesting.
it's like 5 hours or 6 hours, something like that. I'm pulling it.
What would your comparison be to the like Disney VIP pass experience, you think?
I think it's very similar, right? Kind of
Okay.
taking to the front of all the lines. Now, the one thing about Disney one is like you can do multiple parks, and they do sell multiple park ones here. But I think your real value comes in at Epic Universe because Express Pass at the other parks still get you a pretty short wait for the most part right now. So I think if you're going to splurge, you do it just the one park on Epic Universe.
Okay. Going through a lady's video. Did your kids do the game room at all? The game room area?
I walked in there. No, we didn't really spend any time playing games there though.
Yeah, be curious. 160 game credits. I'd be curious how it compares to Baja Mars from these places. It sounds expensive. Just they have a special that's 160 game credits and you get 30 credits bonus for $40, but I can't actually make out what each game.
Like how many games you're going to get?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if she gets close enough in the video to like see how many credits you get per game. But it is kind of a small game room. I mean, it unless I'm missing part of it, it seems like it's a bunch of claw machines and like 2 or 3 video game centers and like a candy crane. The candy crane is a winner every time though. You got some basketball, Jurassic Park. No, she just keeps zooming in on the pay machine, which is not super helpful. Oh, here we
So
go.
here's, sorry.
28. So one game, one SpongeBob game is 28. So 160. divided by 28, which would be $40. So it's $5 a play.
That's crazy. Yeah, you may not want to play
Woof.
video games.
Okay, moving on. Anyway, continue, Jamie.
I
Sorry.
just I just pulled up someone's review of the semi-private tour, and
Okay.
this sells me even more on it.
Oh,
So
interesting. Hit me.
it's 4 hours, which is a little bit shorter than I thought. But they said they got on 8 rides, which is basically like the whole park.
Okay.
Said they started early in the morning, so they checked in at 9:30. They wrapped up at 2 o'clock. But your VIP badge after the private tour is over acts as express pass for the rest of the day. So if you're going to spend 200 for the express pass, you're basically getting that plus every ride. So that was pretty good.
That's
So that
a
seems like
pretty,
that's a selling feature in my mind.
yeah. So I'm looking now too. They're going through the gym. I think for the price of what this hotel cost, I'm a little underwhelmed by the gym. It's a lot of techno gym stuff, which is, I
Yep.
think, to be expected. I hate them for some reason because I can never get my Apple Watch to sync to them. But that might be a me personal problem. There's a couple apples and headphones wrapped up. I think my real pet peeve looking in this gym, there's just not a lot of space.
Yeah, it is. It would kind of remind you of, we talked about Baja Mar, like the weight section, kind of where it's a little bit narrow.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm
the
just
plus
kind
side,
of
when I
like,
was
man,
there, there was nobody in there.
sure. But I mean, if you had a couple people in here and I'm like, man, you want to stretch, I don't even see, I mean, you essentially can't even lay out a yoga mat and stretch without basically blocking the entire hallway, which is a little fortunate. It does have some of the self-propelled machines. I mean, it looks like it has top of the line machinery. It just seems like it's kind of wedged into a small room. And then one interesting thing I'm trying to peek in here is she also did the club lounge. And so if you have a club level room, it's continental breakfast is available there 7 to 10, afternoon delights, which sounds basically like nothing from 12 to 3,
Cookies.
late evening hors d'oeuvres from 5 to 7, something sweet, so dessert option from 8 to 9, and then during hors d'oeuvres, there's complimentary beer and wine from 5
Okay.
to 7. And then it promotes that you have a dedicated club concierge to help you plan your day. I will say there have been times in other hotels where I've been at Club Lounge and you have an issue or you need something special done. It is nice. Most of those employees are better trained, at least, or more senior employees that can
Yeah.
kind of make some stuff happen.
And
There's some,
I feel like the staff at this hotel is really good. And I say that in January we went to Universal, like I say old Universal, but we stayed at the Royal Pacific. No, we stayed at Portofino, and there was a really great person working at the front desk.
okay.
And I thought she was one of like the best front desk customer service agents like that I've worked with. And she was telling me that she had applied and was moving to this hotel once it opened. So I think they were probably taking some of like their better, more seasoned hotel employees and moving them to the new property.
That makes
So I don't
sense.
know.
Looks like there's a coffee machine in here. Yeah, Coke, Diet Coke, and Sprite. No Coke Zero. Lame. But yeah, I mean, if you can eat some meals there, I could see worth the premium. I do see her going through this iPad, which it does seem to work really well. You just always worry, will it always work that well? I think is one
Yes,
of
I
my,
was going to say it's new right now, but who knows?
yeah.
I know we
Lemon
talk about
ricotta.
Baja Mar a lot, but I think they did away with their iPads in the rooms.
Yes, which I don't miss under any circumstances. Ooh, a lemon ricotta pancake for $24. What a
Ooh.
country we live in. Okay, I think we've covered this in pretty good detail. You have anything else on this property? Like, how about this? Is there any reason to stay at this hotel if you're not going to do Epic Universe?
I'm going to say no. And I say that because you are paying such a premium in Orlando, which is, I mean, obviously we've probably talked about 6 or 8 hotels in Orlando already. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of great hotels at a much lower price point. You're paying for this like for location, location, location. You want to be able to walk out, go to the park, take a break, go back to your room. It's very easy to pop in and out if you want to. So if you're going to Epic Universe, it's worth the splurge. If you're not going to Epic Universe, this is not one that I would say like, oh, you have to stay here because you could easily be in for $1,000 a night for a theme park view room. Like, it's expensive.
Right. And I think most of our listeners or loyal listeners know if you're spending $1,000 a night in Orlando, me and you are both going to be found at the Four Seasons.
Yes. Yep. I would agree.
And then, yeah, I guess that's true. Because then if you start getting into you don't want to spend $1,000 a night and you're
You're still
not
in for
going to be
600 bucks a night.
yeah, well, I was going to say, and you don't want to be at Epic Universe, I mean, drive down the street, go stay at the Conrad Orlando, go stay at Evermore.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Even like our episode on the Ritz Orlando really kind of got me sold.
Yeah, Ritz, JW, you've got
Yeah.
Waldorf. Like you got a lot of high-end properties that are probably more in the $500 range. So
And
this is
and
this is amazing for Epic Universe. Outside of that,
and maybe I'm misreading it too, but well, the Ritz-Carlton is not that far, correct, from Epic Universe?
no. So actually, when I visited Epic Universe the first time, I was staying at the Ritz,
Hmm.
and I went for a few hours during the day, and then I actually took a cab back to go to the bar in the evening. And I want to say my cab ride was like, or say cab Uber was like $15, $12. Like, so it was very close.
Okay.
Maybe 10 minutes at the most.
Yeah. So I mean, because I think the one thing that we've still managed to make this episode 40 minutes. Our pontification knows no bounds, I guess. But there's not really a lot of amenities at this hotel. Like the main reason, everything we talked about this hotel is really in relation to the park. And then
Yeah, it's tied to the park, right? If you're not going for the park, I would say you don't need to stay here.
okay,
Like I could see this hotel from my balcony when I stayed at the Ritz. That's how close it is.
got it. Because that Ritz got me really excited.
The
I'm not
rooms are
gonna
really
lie.
nice. And this is what we did, right? We did a split stay. So we didn't stay here the whole time. We stayed here for 2 nights while we were doing Epic Universe. And then we went back. We were at Disney too. So we went back to our hotel at Disney. But if you were looking for like a relaxing trip, you could do like Conrad Orlando or Evermore for a few nights, hit this to check out, Epic, and then, go somewhere else.
And the biggest upside to the Ritz-Carlton Orlando is it's closer to Gatorland.
There you go.
Next time I go to Orlando, that is like my number one thing I would like to do. I don't know if my wife and daughter are going to be on board for Gatorland, but man, I don't know how I stumbled upon Gatorland, but it's very exciting. That's definitely top tip for anyone that
Okay.
I don't know, likes alligators. It looks like a very cheesy, poorly themed amusement park, but I mean, it has like splash pad, some other animals, but mostly just hundreds of gators living on top of each other. So if you're not afraid of gators, this
I'm
could be
in.
the place for you. Yeah, there's some big, dude. If you look at some of the photos of this park, there are some big gators in this place.
Ashton's terrified of gators and crocodiles, so we probably won't be going there, but
I think you should blindfold them and take them there.
just feel like, hey, we're gonna go see some lizards.
Oh man. It is a little pricey, I will say. I just looked it up as, just for information's sake. It is a $35 adult ticket, $25 kid ticket.
Basically free compared to Epic Universe.
That's fair. Man, it's been open since 1949.
Still going?
I guess that makes sense because there's no way someone could build that in modern day.
Right.
No one in 2025 could be like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy some land and stick 6,000 gators in it and charge people $20 to come see these gators. So I guess that's fair enough. And you can zip line over. Ooh, that's man. It's called the
No,
Gator
thank you.
Gauntlet. Yeah, it's called the Gator Gauntlet, and you can zip line over the Gator pool.
That is being very trusting of someone taking care of that zip line.
I mean, yes and no. The other argument I'd make, most of those zip lines you're doing in like Costa Rica and these places, if you fell off that zip line, you're dead before you hit the ground anyway. You're so
I mean, I'm
high
not
up in
trusting
the.
those either.
Well, I'm just saying, you probably would be dead before the alligators ate you anyway. You probably, get knocked out
Okay,
unconscious
fair enough.
before you even got there. But Gatorland is self-proclaimed the world's largest alligator farm. I'm not going to research that, but I'm going to trust them on that one. But just goes to
Okay.
show that there's an endless amount of things to do in Orlando. We've got Universal Helios. Drop us a line, travelbros.com/book with us if you'd like to stay there. Only if you're going to the park, though. If not, I think, we'd love to help you out, get into, like you said, Conrad. We've got an episode on Evermore. We've got an episode on the Ritz. I've stayed at the Waldorf, so maybe I should do an episode on that just to really load us up on some more content. And we're going back to Asia for next week, so we
I
can
like it.
talk about Japan.
Another Conrad, right?
Yeah, correct. I will be talking about the Conrad Japan. Any parting words, any thoughts, feelings, concerns, questions, comments?
No, Epic Universe, like I said, visually stunning. It's worth checking out. Maybe not during the summer, so think about fall or spring when you're not going to be hindered by the weather. But we are going to be going back Thanksgiving time. Hopefully, the craziness has died down by then, so we will see.
Perfect. And if I pushed this podcast episode forward 2 days, then it would be coming out on Wednesday instead of Friday,
It'll be coming out
correct?
Wednesday. That's right.
Okay, just double check it. Awesome, guys. Everyone have a good one. We'll see you next week.
See ya.